check it out. Here's my new MPC 5000. It's not new, of course. It's new to me, though. I bought it last night. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I took off the plastic side pieces. That one goes on the other side. I didn't like how it looked. I thought it made it look really cheap, and it gives it a larger footprint than it already has, which is huge. And I think it looks a lot better. I think it looks more like the classic 2000 and XL kind of MPCs. So I've owned a 2000 before. Back in 97 I bought my first one. Had it for about 5 or 6 years and then sold it. I recently bought another 2000 and then a 2000 XL. And I didn't realize how much I missed the MPC pads and workflow. All that time and effort I put in back in 97 of learning how to use it, it's mostly still in my brain and I can access it, and it's a really good thing. I like the workflow. I like what I didn't care for with the 2000 way back then was the sound. And I found that it was kind of flat. It sounded pretty flat to me. And for a lot of people making hip hop beats and stuff like that, that's a non-issue. But at the time I was not only trying to make hip hop beats, I was trying to make cleaner house and techno. And I just couldn't ever get the sound that I wanted. That was probably a me issue and not so much the 2000. But yeah, I never really was in love with the sound. I know a lot of people just love the 2000 classic sound, and I just never really cared for it. All these years later, I bought another 2000 and then a 2000 XL, which was fully loaded. So I let the 2000 go. I still have the XL right now. I saw this come up and I bought it. And the reason is I like the XL. It's great, but it doesn't have a CF card reader or SD or anything like that. And again, the sound. I'm just not in love with the sound. I love the workflow. I love the pads. I love all of it, except for really the sound. And it could be a me issue, right? Like I said, but this one has hi-fi sound. It can go crunchy. It can go nasty. It can get as rough or raw as anything that I want. However, it can go hi-fi, which the 2000 XL, in my opinion, cannot. The onboard synth so far is amazing. Ever since I had the 2000 way back in 97, and it had that single slider, I thought, wow, I wish I had a bunch of sliders and knobs for all the parameters so I could mess with it in real time when I'm jamming. All these years later, they did it. They came out with this. I don't think it's the same build quality as the 2000 XL and some of the others, 60, 3000, things like that. It's just not the same build quality. I think the people who had this before me were a little rough on it. You can see there's a scratch here. I don't care about scratches. That's not an issue to me. I'm all about the function. And this, I'm going to have to replace this knob eventually. Well, now it's working perfectly. Isn't that just like when you take a car to the mechanic? It was, that's so weird. It was sticking for a long time. Anyway, it works great now. That's so weird. And so, geez, that's a good thing though. That was really messed up before. I wonder what that was. Anyway, this slider's been dinged a bit. That doesn't speak to the quality of it though. Actually, you know what? There it is. It's sticking again. There it is. So, and these ones work perfectly. So I don't know. It looks like someone damaged it here, bent that, and possibly damaged this one. So that might not be Akai's fault whatsoever. That could be completely misuse and abuse. However, there is some scratchiness in the main volume, and it's not old enough for that. This thing hasn't been abused and used, from what I understand, enough for that to be crackly. Is that a deal breaker? No. Can I put some pot cleaner in there? Sure, I'll do that. It's not the end of the world. The other thing is the headphone jack. Sometimes it works perfectly and sometimes it doesn't. And I read a lot about these before I bought it, and people cited build quality issues, and I believe it to be true. The other thing that's puzzling is why in the hell did they do the data wheel that clicks? That's just awful. Why would you do that? Deal breaker, no. Wheel of Fortune, yes. Why would you want to do that? I want it quiet again. I don't know if there's a mod for that or not. If you know of one, let me know in the comments. But I love the screen. It's got contrast. Flips up. It's great. Individual outputs, fantastic. Xlr Inputs, that's nice. I would have liked Xlr Outputs. That would have been real sweet. But hey, so be it. It's got the phono input. Lots of MIDI in and outs. It's all there for me. It's all there. The size, I don't mind it because it's got all the Q-Link controls here, the knobs and the sliders, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I love it. I'm really excited to see how I can use that in live jamming and in motion sequence recording. The transport buttons all feel similar to what I'm used to. It's all there for that. A few other things like this full level button. Let's see if it can, yeah, you see how it's slanted? I think that's just from people pressing on it. Again, it hasn't been used enough for it to be wonky like that. That's ridiculous. Same as the next sequence. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that's a little bit slanted too. And I mean, that's definitely a quality issue. That's, unless somebody hit it with like really hard repeatedly or with something and like just really drop something on it. I don't know what. The other issue is the hard drive. The hard drive has crapped out. And I bought it with it crapped out. I wasn't too concerned about it. It's got the CF card. I got a 16 gig in there. That's plenty for me. However, I would like another hard drive. I found one used for 40 bucks. That's 250 gig, which is an upgrade from the 80 gig. So I'll go buy that, slam it in, and see if I can, without having to do any, there it is, without having to do any fixes, see if I can just use it as it is. I may have to replace that. That would be about it. It still functions perfectly. There's no issues with it. The crackly pot, well, I don't really play with the pot anyway, the volume knob when I'm recording, so that's not an issue. It doesn't crackle when it's not being moved. So otherwise, it's perfectly usable. So far, so good. This is exactly what I wanted the whole time, and didn't even really look at the MPC 5000 until very recently. So as I cruise along with this, I will give updates on what I think about it and any other opinions. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.